you have the choice to take action or not to take action. It's kind of like being pushed into the deep of the end of the pool. You know, you can just drown, or you can try to your very best to make it to the edge. You know, to make it to the shore.
So we moved here to Whistler, I think it was in 1996, and Kelty would have been going into grade 7, and Riley was going into grade 4. The reason why we moved here is that we wanted to be in a community that had lots of activities to do, and the kids loved it. Carrie was a realtor at that time, and I was working for IBM, and we had the ideal life. We knew nothing really about mental health issues, and we knew nothing about what depression was. So we were kind of coming into the whole thing, I would say, pretty ignorant.
It really came out of the blue. I mean, we were on this cruise ship. He just actually came up to us one day and said he didn't know what was wrong, but he wanted to throw himself off the ship right out of the blue like that. Of course, we wanted to protect him and keep him from harming himself. He eventually, you know, he was very embarrassed because of the stigma of the disease, but that was definitely the first episode. We tell that story to people because we want them to know that it can strike very suddenly.
Well, after that episode on the ship when we came back and whatever, and I would ask Kelty, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he'd say, "Mom, don't talk about it because I'm scared if we talk about it, it'll come back." This is the first time that he had really talked about this since it was almost a year before. And so he had all his friends there. He had all his friends downstairs in the pool room. And they're all playing pool and having a great time. And then Carrie and I were sitting up here, and he comes in to us and he says, "You know, and he had tears in his eyes, and he says, 'Mom, I just want to be normal. I just want to be normal like everybody else. I don't want to have these thoughts.'" And so we had to ask all his friends to go home, and he was just so distraught, and Carrie had to take him to the clinic the next day, and it was just so hard when you see your beautiful son, who is so, you know, he's so full of life and so gorgeous and in so much pain. And as a mother and as a father, all you want to do is you just want to take away the pain from your children, but you couldn't take it away, and that was the hardest part. He took his life here in our home on February 28th it was, and we had to take him off of life support on March 2nd. And as you can imagine, making that decision, trying to have to take your child off of life support, but knowing that he's not going to make it is it's the worst thing you can ever do in your life. But you had to let him go.
I think one of the fear when you lose your children is that they will be forgotten. And you never want them to be forgotten. We just looked into each other's eyes and realized that we wanted to start a foundation to warn other people about how dangerous depression was. And we decided to get together in Winnipeg and set up a board to establish this foundation to prevent depression-related suicide in young people. That was our mission statement. We decided to start a fundraising golf tournament, and we decided that even if we raised $25,000 and help one person, that would be, you know, a very good goal for us. And we just built it from there. Well, little did we realize that that probably forced Riley to take a different path into what she did. Maybe some depression, and certainly an eating disorder, and afterwards some problems with some substance abuse. You know, we really didn't notice anything in Riley for quite a while. We were very conscious of protecting Riley from pain. Like, we didn't feel that we were really spending too much time on Kelty, but it was all things Kelty after that. It wasn't really about Riley. So she really kind of held that against us, and we didn't really see the signs of that until she saw us put up Kelty's sweater, and then she said, "Well, where's my hockey sweater?" And she even went to the point of saying, "You know, you're spending more time on a dead person than me."
When she was getting to a point where she knew she couldn't do it anymore, she would cry out for help. and we would be there to help her. We would do anything for her. She still had, I hate to say it, is kind of all this toxicity around her loss that she just hadn't. And that's when I think when she started going to yoga and she started opening up, that's when she really started to kind of blossom. She said, you know, I want to start up a yoga studio here. And that's when she went to Chiang Mai. And then we separated her shoulder again and went to a doctor. And that's when the doctor gave her some medication, and the medication caused a heart attack, and she died in her sleep. She had finally found happiness, and she was just at such a good point in her life, and it was so good to see. And that happened.
Her uncle wrote a song, and one of the lines in the song was, the person she was looking for was standing in her shoes.
Yeah, in a coffee shop in Thailand, she finally got the news. The person that she was looking for was standing in the shoes. Every day I wake up, and that's the first thing that I think about is my kids. And I think about, okay, how am I going to get on with my life and still honor my children? And that's what you have to do. Some of the different projects that we funded is we gave $1 million to the BC Children's Hospital. And that's when they were building a mental health building. And it's interesting to know is that without our private donation of $1 million, that building would have never been built because the provincial government was ready to take the money away. But probably some of our proudest things I think that we've done is we've established what's called the Kelty Mental Health Resource Centers. This is a place where people could go or phone up or get on a website, and it would be kind of like one-stop shopping. It's for kids, it's for parents, it's for doctors, it's for community workers, it's for teachers.
And our main goal in that was to deliver care, education, and research to British Columbians. As a matter of fact, mental health is going to be the biggest medical challenge in the 21st century by far. Someone asked us to propose that we ride across Canada. We saw that as a challenge, and we took that up too.
It was one of the most amazing things, I think. Probably I was going to check for that as one of the most amazing things I'll probably ever do in my life. And it wasn't just because of the ride alone and, you know, kind of pedaling all those millions of miles that we did, but it was the opportunity to meet so many different people and to talk about mental illness. And we raised almost $1.7 million. Oh, that was a long ride. You know, our big lofty goal is, wouldn't it be wonderful if the next generation there was no stigma on mental health issues?
When the dark came to wrestle with me, I felt all alone. And his stars became shadows lost inside. He made it seem like the night would go on and on, but then my